raise your hand if you would like 30 more seconds to finish warm up. Okay, let's take a little bit of time. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just whip around really quickly. Everyone's gonna read out their edited version of this sentence with the goal of making it more descriptive. Let's go ahead and start with Elizabeth.
Lunch at your pasta is good because I eat a lot of good food like pizza, fries, and pasta.
Okay. Justin.
Lunch at your pasta is good because there are a lot of different varieties.
Next person.
Lunch at your pasta is good because there's different types of food you can eat like pizza or pasta.
Lunch at your pasta is great because I eat a lot of delicious food.
Uh-huh.
Lunch at your pasta is good because there are many good food choices.
Lunch at your pasta is good because there's a lot of delicious food.
Lunch at your pasta is good because I eat a lot of good food like pizza, pasta, and more. Lunch at your pasta is delicious because I choose the best food like pizza, fries, soda.
Lunch at your pasta is good because I eat a lot of good food like pizza and fries.
Lunch at your pasta is good because there is a lot of good food.
Okay. And we can wrap. So, looking at the way people decided to change this sentence to make it more descriptive, what were some of our common choices? What were the things that we did to make it more descriptive? Justin?
Talk about pizza, pasta, and soda.
Yeah, so we added examples of things to prove what was so good about it. I think that's a really strong choice. You're giving us specific examples. What else did we do? What other changes did we make? Anything? Did we change any of the adjectives? Elizabeth, what were some of the adjectives you changed?
I didn't change any.
Okay, so some people didn't change any of the adjectives. Raise your hand if you did change one of the adjectives. Liz?
What are the words?
Mm-hmm.
I changed good,
Two?
delicious.
Nice. So I would agree that delicious is a much stronger word than good. Good is really vague. I don't know what you mean by good necessarily, and you could be much more specific by using a word like delicious, which at least 3 people did. Okay? Somebody else said there are different varieties of food. So that is explaining what they found to be good about the food at ICASA. So I want you to look at your sentence and see if you can find a word to replace the 2 times that we used good. Because we never want to repeat a descriptor, and we want to do our best to avoid using words like good because that can mean almost anything. So I want you to try to be more specific. So everybody take 30 seconds, try to find a different word to replace both of the times you used good. Yes, thank you. So what words can we use to replace good? We already have delicious, nice. Then try to come up with a different one for the first time. Dope, amazing, much stronger word. And then if you've changed your word, try to come up with an example. Because I think that that is a really good choice for making a sentence more descriptive. You're giving people specific ideas of what exactly you're talking about. What was a word that you came up with instead of good? Reina?
Great.
Great. Anyone else? What did you change good to? Some people changed it to great. Something, what did you change yours to?
Amazing.
Amazing. That's a much more interesting word than just good. It also means that you feel more strongly about it. What are other options instead of saying good? Nancy, what did you say? Delicious. Okay, so we have that one over here. Sally, what did you change it to? Great. Did you change both of them to great? So then we're still repeating, right? In a single sentence, we want to avoid using the same word twice, because it sounds very similar. Maria, what was another word that you used instead of good?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Nice. Okay, so this warm-up is essentially what we're going to be working on doing for most of today. We are going to be looking at our original sentences that we come up with and then seeing how we can make them more descriptive, which is something that you're going to be working on for most of the time that you're in school. Because in general, the way we speak is not super, super descriptive because we aren't spending too much time trying to paint this exact picture. But when we are writing, that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to give somebody the most specific information we can so they know exactly what we mean when we say something. Okay? So, before we get started on our writing exercises, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping and talk about our future plans. So yesterday I asked you on your exit ticket to write which one you would rather do, personal stories or reading stories that other people have written. And almost everybody in the class said that they would rather write personal stories. And so I want to respect that. That's what we're going to do our final project on, definitely. And while we are going to read at least one more story, maybe two, instead of having to analyze it and write about that story, we're going to do a little bit of discussion about those, and then your main projects in response to those stories are going to be to do your own work in a way that is similar to that author. Okay? So for the rest of the class, I hear you that we would rather do personal stories. And so there is going to be a little bit of reading still. This is still English language arts, so we're going to do some reading and some writing. But I am going to try to make sure that for most of our writing, it's about people's personal stories. And then for those of you who are not super interested in writing personal stories, we'll have an option that's based on the books we read. Okay? So that's just a heads up for the rest of the program and the remaining 3 weeks that we have together. Sound good? Silence, but a couple nods. I'll take it. Okay. So, what we're doing next is Around the World. I don't know if, I think probably all of you have played this, and it may have been called a different name for you. But this is a very simple game. All we're doing is going around, each person says a word, with the intent of creating sentences. Has everybody played this game before? Raise your hand if you have.
Around the world basketball, you.
Around the World basketball, yes. With the words, everybody says one word to make a sentence. Raise your hand if you've played that before. A couple of people. Okay, so the one thing that I do need you to do is write down what everybody is saying in your notebook so that we have a record of what the sentence actually is. Because we're going to be using this as the basis of a writing exercise for today. Okay? So for the first around the world, we have to come up with a theme. What's our story that we're starting all together going to be about? Does anybody have a preference? We can make it a horror story, we could make it a comic, like a funny thing happens at a school, can be about the worst day of school ever. Okay, so I have one vote for funny things. Raise your hand if you would like to write all together a horror story. One person, 2 people, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's more than half the class. So we're gonna be writing a horror story together. So the object is,
like saying it too.
yeah, so everybody gets to say one word, and then you have to be listening because I need you to write down the words everybody is saying so that we have it on our paper. Make sense? So I should see everybody with something to write with in their hand because they're gonna be keeping a record of all the words we're putting together into a sentence. And we'll stop every now and then to make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay? Alright, so this only works if everyone is paying attention because we have to make sentences that actually make sense. And it also only works if everybody is actually trying to make it a sentence that ends towards it being scary. Because it's hot in here? Yes, I will do that. Okay, so to get started, we are going to have Reina begin. She's over at the end. And while Reina says her word, what should everybody do, Selu?
Write it down. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Everybody else's job is to write down what she said. Okay? The door, we'll open it a little bit, but sometimes we get a little loud and I don't want to disturb the folks outside. Okay. Reina, get started.
Once
Okay.
upon
Time.
There.
Was.
Little.
girl.
Who? What?
How do you spell pond? Oh, no, I know.
Wait, I'm lost.
Okay, it's okay. So we go
It's the
fast,
wrong
right? We're going really fast, so we're gonna slow down just a second. Everybody try to catch up. Okay. Ellie, are you good?
Girl. Wait, what did you say something?
Who?
Who?
So Ellie, can you read your whole sentence and everybody check to see if we have the same thing?
Once upon a time there was a little girl home.
Okay, give me a thumbs up if you have the same thing.
She doesn't. They're still ready.
Okay. So we'll wait until everybody's caught up and then I'll say a word. Yes,
Okay.
Justin, there is a camera in the back for your observation. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it all together and then add my one word, so be ready to listen for that end. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived.
Where? On?
So once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived.
On.
Can you say it? I'm trying to say woods. And that we live in.
Okay, so we're gonna change on to in. I like the cooperation here.
Live in.
You have to do the next one.
That's all.
The
Huge.
huh?
Big.
Big.
Forest.
That.
Was.
That.
Was. Haunted.
Dun, dun, dun.
And.
Huh?
Bear.
And there. Oh. Wait. Parents.
Were.
Dumb.
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 Yeah, I mean, I guess you would have to be kind of dumb to live in a big forest that was haunted. Who knows?
Who
Maybe
does
they didn't
that?
have a lot of options. It's rough out here in the housing market. Okay, so I'm gonna read the sentence, and everybody check to make sure that you have the same thing. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in the big forest that was haunted, and their parents were dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you all have the same thing. Nice. Okay, we're gonna do one more sentence, and then we'll see what do we need to fix about these. Okay?
Now let's keep going. It's fun.
It is fun, but we have to also do a little bit of reflection at the same time. Okay, Maria, you're getting started.
Lawrence. Wait, is it about the same topic or?
Yeah. So we're continuing our story, but we're on a new sentence.
The
Okay?
Girl.
Was
Very.
retarded.
That's not your turn.
Okay, I guess retarded.
Okay, so I want us to pause and think, do we mean that in the actual sense that she had developmental difficulties? Or are we trying to say that we don't think she was super smart?
She wasn't super smart.
Okay, so then in that case, I would ask us to come up with a different word because retarded actually refers to a medical condition that has made people's lives pretty difficult and is maybe not the best option here. Okay, so I'm reading, the girl was very,
Unsmart.
how to word this?
Unsmart. Stupid because
So we're gonna wait for Zaylu to come up with her own idea. Appreciate your patience. Girl was very
Sexy.
something, it's not your turn yet. That's okay. So, if we don't have a word in mind, this is where we're gonna stop. So everybody put a dot, 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 because from here, you're gonna do your own story, because people have some different ideas about where they would like to go next, okay? Before we can start writing our own story, I need us to look at this sentence, the first sentence that we came up with, okay? So, somebody give me the first sentence. Say this?
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a big forest and haunted, and her parents, or their parents were dumb.
There was a
And her.
And someone said there.
Yeah, so now we're gonna think, what edits do we need to make? So once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived.
in the big forest.
That was haunted.
And their parents were dumb.
Okay. So looking at this, what do we need to add to make this a grammatically correct sentence and one that we like? Liz, what's the first thing?
But at the last sentence, it's there when it's supposed to be her.
Okay, so I agree. I would rather change there for her because we're only talking about one person. And we've already given her a gender. She's a girl. What else? Are there any punctuation marks we need to add? 7?
No.
Okay. What do other people think? I see Liz has an idea, but I'm going to hold off because she can't be doing all the thinking for all of us. Elizabeth, what do you think?
After time, a comma.
Yes. Once upon a time, comma. Liz, is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Nice. Good. We were thinking it. We didn't raise our hands to share it, but it's okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in the big forest that was haunted and her parents were dumb. Raise your hand if this might seem like a run-on sentence to you. This seems like a run-on sentence. Anna, what made you think that it was a run-on? Most of it makes sense to me, but we have multiple ideas inside of this. Nancy.
It looks like there would be like 2 sentences in one.
Yes. To me, it also looks like there are 2 sentences in here. Liz, where would you break it into 2 sentences?
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in the big forest, and then period. It was haunted.
And
But
the
It was haunted, but her parents were gone.
Okay. Raise your hand if that's where you would put the period. Right after big forest. Right there.
Me.
Okay. Did anybody have a different place that they would break this into 2 sentences? Nancy?
where it says, once upon a time there was a little girl, and then you could put, she lived in the big forest and was haunted.
That also works. Both of those are correct options. So we could put it one right there. I'm going to put a parentheses around it so that you know you don't have to. Okay? Justin, where would you have put your period?
After haunted,
Okay.
her parents were done.
Okay. That's what I was thinking also. So once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in the big forest that was haunted. Stop. Her parents were dumb. Okay. So this sentence is now really short. Her parents were dumb. So you might want to work on that and add something. What would be something that we could add to this sentence, her parents were dumb, to make it related to what we were saying in the beginning? Because it's kind of out of left field, right? We're talking about this little girl, where she lives, the fact that it's haunted, and then boom, also, her parents were dumb. How can we make that related? Reina?
Her parents were dumb because they moved to a forest.
Okay, so we can say her parents were dumb because they chose to live there. Okay?
In the haunted forest.
Yeah, because they chose to live in this haunted forest. Now you're connecting this idea back. Because otherwise I'm like, great, why did you tell me that? And it doesn't make sense. So, what you are going to do is write the edited version that you choose, depending on where you want to put the period and break it up into 2 sentences. Rewrite that down underneath our record keeping of the game. And then you're gonna get started. Yeah, so write down your own version of whatever changes you needed to make. Okay, so So if you have made your changes, whatever they may be, you are now free to take the next 7 minutes and finish this story. Where does it go? Okay? So we're gonna take 7 minutes. You're independently writing. Finish this story. If you want to listen to music on your headphones, you may do so now, so long as it doesn't disturb people next to you. I'm gonna play some quiet music if that helps folks. Seeing some super creepy stories. I like it. Okay, take 30 more seconds, and it's okay if you haven't finished. If you have finished, check over your story for grammar, spelling, and descriptiveness. Did you describe things as well as you could? Alright. Can we go around and have people read their stories? Raise your hand if you are okay to do that.
One.
If you're okay to read out your story to the rest of the group. Yes? There's some people. Raise your hand if you would rather share with one other person. Looks like more people would rather share with one other person.
No, two.
And then only 2 raise their hands for sharing out loud.
So no one raised their hand.
No one raised their hands for what, Liz?
Leave that one.
So then it looks like we're gonna share with a partner. Alright,
Oh,
so
they didn't vote yet.
So, some people chose not to vote, and it's unfortunate, but when that happens, your voice is not heard. Keep that in mind. What we're going to do is swap with the person next to you. You can either just switch notebooks if you don't feel like reading out loud, or you can read your story out loud to the other person. So, pair, 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 and pair. We're going to take 1 minute at the most for each person to share their story, okay? So, the first person needs to either read their story or switch it with their partner, and you're gonna have 1 minute to get it all out there.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a big forest that was haunted. Her parents were told with a big desire to live in a big house and live in the haunted forest that was really creepy. After that, her parents made this
It's okay, you don't have to finish. Okay, switch over to the other person if you have not. You already finished? Cool. So then, what I want you to do is give each other your thoughts on how we can make it more descriptive. Okay, so for this part, do switch notebooks and make little notes for each other about who can sit here or use a big word here. Does that make sense? You're trying to help each other make it more descriptive. Okay? Swap. Okay. So if you have finished sharing, let's take a quick summary. What were some of the things that happened? Share what happened in the other person's story. Regna?
She went to go get water in a river,
Uh-huh.
and then she found like an old crusty bucket, and she went in it, and that's the end.
Alright, so something ominous is about to happen in that abandoned shack. What happened in the other story, Maria?
In Raina's story, the little girl she told her parents to like if they could leave, and her parents said no. So like the little girl didn't like go in like big forest because then she heard noise and it was really dark. And then she cried herself to sleep because she heard noises. And then one day she went outside and then of her house and she saw an old lady got her and killed her.
That was dramatic. That escalated quickly.
They moved back to the forest because the house was like cheaper.
And then that was all we got to? So we had some setup going on there, Justin? You had like a setup of like, this was why they moved to the haunted house. And then did anything happen after that yet?
Oh, and then her dad or whatever was going out to get some dinner or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then he found a deer and then like shot it and then tried to eat that.
Alright. So this father seems to be making some bad choices about what he should be eating for dinner. Justin, what happened in Anna's story?
Oh, the girl kept on saying that like she did hear things and like see shadows, but like her parents didn't believe her until like they saw it themselves, and then they like got spooked or whatever and didn't go outside again.
Okay. So something mysterious is starting to happen there. How about over here?
The little girl smelled fire, so she went downstairs, and the fire was spreading everywhere. She found a way to get out the house, but her parents were still in there, and she was screaming at them, but they didn't hear them.
Oh my gosh, those parents are in mortal danger. What happened in Ellie's story? Yeah, these parents have some problems. You can, if she's okay with it, you can look at it real quick.
She was taking a walk one day, and then her parents didn't notice that like the forest was haunted, and like things were missing, and she noticed, but her parents didn't. And she heard screaming and laughing and a wolf crying, and then someone said to go back home because something happened. And when she went back home, her parents died, and by her parents, there was a bloody note that said, "You're next."
Dun 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 dun. Nice. Strong setup, baby.
From what I got to read of hers, it was that her parents were drug addicts and they were in the club at 12. And then at 12:44, they got home and the girl was, the little kids were outside.
But I didn't finish it. Do I read one?
If you would like to.
Okay. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl who lived in the forest with her parents. The parents were drug addicts. They will always go out to clubs. One night, they got home at 12:44 while the kids were outside. But they went to the store to buy a doll. Well, she went to the store to buy a doll. And she said, "I would like to buy this, please." Then the man was like, "Are you sure you want to buy this doll?" She's like, "Yep." And then he kept asking her, "Are you sure?" And then she was like, "Yes, just give me the doll." And then he wanted her to always leave it in the box. To leave it in the box if you're done playing with it, leave it in the box. And then she like ignored him and was like, yeah. And then so she went home. So she stopped playing with it but forgot to put it in a box, so it came alive. It started singing a song, but it went downstairs, so I was singing, and grabbed 2 knives.
Oh my god.
But
So we're gonna stop there. So that's a really strong setup of a very creepy story that I would probably not read at night. Liz, what happened in Maria's?
A girl went for a walk and she heard a voice saying run, but she didn't listen. So she kept on walking, but she heard something behind her, something or someone behind her, and who dragged her, and that was the last of it.
Alright. So what happens when you don't listen to voices in the forest? Nancy, what happened in Sundays?
Just that the little girl and then her parents were down. And then it was really creepy, and after that the parents were missing.
Okay.
Oh,
So there's the lead up. Suddenly the parents are missing and we don't know what's gonna happen after that. And something quickly, what happened in Nancy's?
This one little girl like to play soccer, and one day she was playing, but then the ball fell to the lake. And when she went to go get it at the lake, a hand pulled her, and then she died.
Okay, so she got pulled into the lake
And then
by a hand.
she was screaming help, and then her parents heard her and they came running to her, and then they also got pulled.
Trapped. Alright. So all of you have very good starts to very creepy stories. We have 10 minutes left. We wrote independently, we shared out, and what I want you to do now is either get some advice from your partner about how you can make it more descriptive, or you can go ahead and start working on your own about improving your writing so that we can make it even more interesting and even creepier, okay? So some of our hints for making it descriptive, what should we be trying to do? If we want to make our stories even more descriptive than they are now. Nancy?
For example?
Yes. So we need to give examples. So instead of saying that the forest was creepy, give me an example of why the forest would be creepy. Somebody give me an example of what would make a forest creepy. Justin?
Voices at night.
Yes. So the forest was creepy because we hear voices at night.
spirits.
Spirits. Okay. What else can we do to make our story more descriptive?
Creaking, like, when you walk on the hardwood floor, it creaks.
Yeah. So we want to talk about sounds. We want to talk about smells. And we want to talk about appearances. How do things look?
And it feels.
How they feel. So sensation. What else can we do to make our story descriptive? Anything else? These are both really strong. We want examples. We want to give all of our senses so that people have a full image. Another thing that I want you to consider is, what are the thoughts of your characters? How are they feeling? We want their emotions. Okay? So when Santi's story, the parents go missing, the next thing he might want to tell us is how the girl feels when she walks in and she sees the room, she hears the silence, and maybe she smells something that tells her everything is not right at home. Okay? So this is what we're going to spend our last 5 minutes doing. Go through, and you can either change what you already have, or you can keep writing and make sure that you're adding these descriptive aspects. Okay?
What time do we leave again?
Today we're going to be done at 10:15, and we have only 4 minutes left. So we just have a tiny little bit of time to work on this. So everybody make sure you're doing the best you can.
You don't have an exit ticket?
There is no exit ticket today because we are just too busy writing. Okay, so you have 2 minutes left. Make at least one change to make your story stronger. After you have made your change, you can close up your notebook, leave your pencil and your pen on the table.
Is it paper? You have the paper?
Yes. And bring your notebook over and stack it up on top of my notes. Go ahead and wait outside quietly for Nathan. Thank you. Liz, please stop that. Bye. Your warm-up is on the floor. I know, somehow I end up always putting your notebook there. Next week, I'll make a concentrated effort to move you somewhere else in the room so you don't get too bored. answers on the board. Make sure you put today's date. So the first thing you need on your paper is that original sentence. Lunch at Ipasa is good because I eat a lot of good food. The next thing you need is an edited version of that sentence. Make it as descriptive as you can.
And we're just gonna rewrite the whole thing.
Okay, raise your hand if you need 30 more seconds. All right, go ahead and take that time. Everybody needs to have an edited version of this sentence. Folks who are done, I'm trusting you to not disturb other people. Alright, so what we are going to do is just whip around the room very quickly to hear how people changed this sentence. So why don't we get started with Daniel, because he seemed to finish up pretty quickly.
I changed it to Lunchari Pasta is the best because I could still have good food.
Okay? And let's go around towards Siva.
Chili pasta is good because the food they give is great.
Okay? Next person?
Chili pasta is the best because, well, like mostly because I eat a lot of great food.
Okay?
Chili pasta is awesome because I eat tons of delicious food.
Next person.
Lunchati pasta is like I'm in paradise because I eat a lot of fantastic food.
Alright, like I'm in paradise. You wrote a sentence? Share it with us. You were unable to write a sentence, Ariana. What's...
I didn't finish.
Okay, read what you have.
I didn't finish. I just wrote
You just wrote? Okay. So in the 3 minutes that we had for warm-up, I'm gonna need you to be thinking a little bit faster. Everyone's gonna go and share. By the time we come around to you, I'm gonna ask you to give me a final version. Alright. Moy, what did you write?
Chili pasta is great because I eat a lot of tasty food.
Tasty. Jocelyn, how about you?
Lunchati pasta is good because I eat a lot of fantastic food.
Okay. Fun?
The lunch at pasta is great because you could have delicious food like as much as you want.
Okay. As much as you want. Already?
I enjoy eating in classes because they have delicious food.
Alright. Okay. What's one word that you would think to use instead of good, Ariana? Tasty. Thanks. Okay, so looking at the different edits we came up with, what were most people changing? What did we spend most of our time changing about this sentence? Moy?
The part where it says good.
Yeah. So in our original sentence, we say good 2 times. What's the problem with that? Why would that be something that we wanted to change? Ariana? Okay. Kayla?
Well, sometimes you're not supposed to be describing.
Okay. We don't want to repeat a word in the same sentence unless we absolutely have to. And so if we're saying good 2 times in a sentence, we can probably do better. What else?
It's not formal.
It's not very formal. And I didn't say we had to be writing formal, but it's good practice. And it isn't the most formal of words. There's one other thing that I have a problem with the word good. Edwin?
It's not very descriptive.
Yeah, it's not a specific or descriptive word. We can say good about almost anything, and you won't have a very good idea, right? A very clear idea of what we meant by that. So if you ask me, how was your day? And I say, good, that could mean so many things. That could mean I had a wonderful day and I was excited and feeling wonderful the whole time. Or there were some parts that weren't that awesome, but overall it was all right. Or I'm actually irritated and I don't want to have a conversation, so I'm just gonna say good and you'll leave me alone. So instead of using a word like good, which can mean so many different things, people instead chose more specific words. They chose awesome, delicious, tasty, the best, okay? Other people did something that was really impressive. What is this? When Kayla said, lunch at Ipasa is like I'm in paradise. Yes, this is a simile. This is the use of figurative language. She's giving you a really specific idea and saying it is just like this. So if you're in paradise, that means that that is way above good. And that's how eating lunch at Ipasa is for Kayla. Maybe some days. Okay? Juan Carlos did something else. He said, because I eat as much as I want of the food. What was this? This one's a little hard to get at. But what Juan Carlos was doing here, I would say, is that he was giving us a specific reason for why he thinks the lunch at Ipasa is so good. The original reason is, yeah, we get to eat a lot of good food, but he's being really specific. I can eat as much as I want. And that's a really specific reason for liking something, because we get a lot of it, okay? So, everybody look down at your sentence. In your edited version, did you change both times that we used the word good? Raise your hand if you picked two different words for that in your sentence when you edited it. Okay, some folks. If you did not, I want you to look back at your sentence and pick two different descriptive words that you can use instead of good, because we can all do better than that. So double check your sentence. We said tasty food. Lunch at Ipasa is great. Nice. People last class did something that was impressive to me. They gave examples of that good food. So if you already replaced both of your goods, I want you to give me some examples of the food that makes Ipasa's lunch great. Yeah, so I eat a lot of, use a word different than good, because it's delicious, nice. But different than good. You can choose any other word. If that makes sense. Nice. The food they give out is great. I get to have amazing food like what? Like pizza and ice cream. Nice. Specific. Pizza and fries. Man, everybody is really into the pizza. So you still have not given me examples and you seem a little distracted. So focus. Did you find it didn't work? Great. Awesome. Give me an example of that food. So what are those foods that are so delicious to you? Try to come up with at least one. You eat lunch here Monday through Friday. Alright, so Juan, can you give me your final version, your final edited version of this sentence?
The lunch at Ipasa is great because you could have delicious food as much as you want. And an example is like I like pizza and fries.
Nice. So we went from lunch at Ipasa is good because I eat a lot of good food to that very descriptive, detailed sentence that also gave us examples. Okay? So that is what I would like you to do in all of your writing. Whenever we're trying to explain something, especially in writing, we want to give the clearest idea possible so that whoever ends up reading it actually knows what we mean. There's a lot of room for people to get confused if you are not specific. Okay, so that's our warm-up. And before we get started with the rest of the day, which is going to be somewhat similar to our warm-up, I want to do a quick check-in about future plans for the rest of this class. So yesterday I asked you to answer on your note card, would you rather write more personal stories or read more pieces of literature that are written by other authors? And this class was actually split pretty evenly. 6 people wanted to write more personal stories, 4 people want to read more stories that were written by authors. What we're gonna do is something in between, okay? So we will read a couple more stories over the course of our remaining 3 weeks. And then people who wanna write about those stories can do so. Other people who wanna write personal stories will be able to do that. And you're just gonna base it on the style of that author. So we're gonna use our stories that we read together as an example, and then you're gonna take inspiration from that and write your own personal story that's similar, okay? So hopefully everybody will get a little bit of something that they're interested in, and on your personal project, in the final project, you'll have the opportunity to either do your own personal work or to give me an analysis over one of the stories that we read together, okay? So we'll have a little bit of both. That's just to get you ready for what's happening up ahead. Was there anybody in this class who needed to turn in their book review because they had been working on it and needed last night to finish it? Yeah? Okay. Yes? Great. So let me collect those from you, and then we'll get started with our Around the World activity. What is that? Okay. If there's nothing, it doesn't need to be on the table. Alright, so as these 2 folks are getting out their book review, thank you, appreciate it. What we're gonna be doing for the rest of this period is a beginning brainstorm, which will take the form of a game that probably some of you have played. So around the world, we're making a sentence all together, and each person only gets to say 1 word. Raise your hand if you've played that game before. Most folks, okay? It's pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna get started, probably starting from Moy. We go around, every person gets to say a word. We're all making a sentence together, okay? The one thing that is different, because we're in a classroom and we're using this as the jumping point of a story that we're gonna write, is that you have to write down what people say so that you can keep track of the sentence, okay? So last class, we decided that we were going to create a sentence that was the beginning of a scary story. So you can choose to do the same thing, also a horror story, or you can choose to do it as a comedy. You can make a sentence about the first day of school for a kid, the worst day ever, whatever you feel like. Raise your hand if you would like to create this sentence and start a horror story. No one wants to do a horror story. Raise your hand if you would like to start it and make the sentence be about a kid's first day of school. Nothing. Does anybody have an idea for what you would like this story to be about? No ideas. Juan, thank
Probably
you.
something we like to do.
Okay, cool. So we can make this sentence about something we enjoy doing. Okay? Sound good? Are we able to do this? Okay. This was fun and enjoyable, I think, for most of last class. Hopefully we get something good out of this. You do need to be paying attention, and you do need to actually be putting a little bit of effort in if it's going to be fun at all. Okay, so Moy's going to get us started. And Silami, can you explain to me what the rest of us should be doing when Moy says his first word?
Writing them down.
Yeah, and we'll stop every now and then to make sure we're all on the same page, okay? Alright, Moy, get us started. What's your first word? I. Like.
To.
Do.
Activities.
Bike.
Soccer.
Like,
And
Nice. Alright, let's pause really quickly. Who can read out to me the full sentence? Ariana? Nice. Raise your hand if you got the same thing. Are we on the same page?
I didn't hear the last one.
So I like to do activities like soccer, bike, and basketball. Was it bike? Cool. Alright. Uh-huh. So then this is why we check in, because sometimes people hear different words and we want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay. Should we end our sentence there or keep going? End it? Raise your hand if you think we should end it there and put a period. I think that would make sense. If we didn't put a period, it will probably be a run-on sentence. Alright, Moy, get us started on the second one. Phone?
Yes.
Good.
Read out what we have so far, Stephanie.
My phone is really good.
Taking pictures.
You get one word.
Taking
Okay.
pictures.
Fair. And
Cars.
so my phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and cars.
Anything.
Okay. Who can read this last sentence out? Daniel, what do you have?
I live in this one.
Okay, that's fine. Read up to what you got last.
My phone is really good at taking pictures of.
Okay, so my phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and anything. He did originally say cars, but then he changed his mind. Okay, so I'm gonna write this up on the board. Who can finish this off? I like to do activities like soccer. Juan Carlos and Moises, please control yourselves. And basketball. Moy, can you read the second sentence for me?
My phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and anything.
All right. So taking a look at this, is there anything we need to change for grammar? Or does it all make sense?
Everything and everything?
Oh, my bad. Everything and anything. Thanks, David. Do we need to change anything for grammar? Take a look at that. Fun?
What did you come for the first one? I like to play different activities.
Okay. So instead of do, we could say play. And then you want to add a descriptive word of different. Okay. So I like to play different activities. Can we play activities? Do you play activities or do activities? Some people would prefer to say play activities, some people prefer to say do activities. I would probably say do activities. I might say I like to play different games or sports, but either one works, okay? Can we do soccer?
Maybe.
Yeah, so we would play soccer, okay? So if you were gonna keep it, I like to do activities like,
Such as.
yeah, you could say such as, like, I would say playing soccer, bike,
Hiking.
biking, okay? Biking and basketball, okay? You can maybe switch the order of words. I like to do activities like playing soccer, basketball, and biking. Because you need to play basketball and you need to play soccer. So you can put those closer to each other. Okay? All of these are different options. You don't have to do it like this. My phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and anything. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So from here, this is your starting point. From here, you are going to take the next 7 minutes to write an extension of this. If these things are not true about you, you can change it. Okay?
And make your own.
And make your own. But this is to get you started. And also to show you our process of changing things so that they're more descriptive. Okay? So if we wanted to make this sentence more descriptive, my phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and anything. What might be some different options? My phone is really good at taking pictures of
Fantastic moments.
fantastic moments. Everything and anything. They're pretty open. It doesn't tell us what you take pictures of. So in your next sentence, maybe you would tell us, what do you take pictures of? Okay? So these are some ideas to get you started. But for the next 7 minutes, we are writing independently about what we like to do. Your time is starting. If you would like to listen to music on your own device with one headphone in, you're free to do so. I'm going to play some quiet music in case that helps people. Oh boy. Hey girls. That's why you should never use pencil in a classroom. So let me remind you, for those of us who seem to have forgotten, that the goal for the next 7 minutes is to be writing independently. If you can't come up with more things that you like to do, explain to me why you like to do the activities you have written down, when you do them, who you do them with. As much detail as you can. That's our goal for today. We want to describe things. We have 3 minutes left. So we've got 1 minute left for your writing. So for this last minute, I need to see everybody's pencil on the page. Okay, so we are going to finish up. Take 5 seconds to finish your last sentence if you're in the middle of one. Okay, and now all I need you to do, we're going to go around and everybody share at least 2 sentences that you wrote down from your writing. If you're really willing to do it, I would appreciate hearing everything that you wrote. Okay? Raise your hand if you are willing to get started. Thank you. Juan Carlos is really just putting this whole class on his back. Appreciate that.
I like to do different activities such as playing soccer, football, and fishing. My dad's the best because he buys me whatever I want. I like to wear Ralph Lauren Polo and Tommy Hilfiger. My favorite soccer team is Real Madrid. I usually go to California's Great America every weekend with my friends Jahir and Nadia. The last time I went to Great America, the roller coaster got stuck.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's move around the room. So Agani, you're up next.
I like to do different things, different activities like baking, biking, and using my phone. My phone is really good at taking pictures of everything and anything. One thing my phone is really good at is taking pictures of the sunset.
Sweet.
I too love things like playing soccer, biking, and playing basketball. My phone is really good at taking pictures of exciting or amazing moments. I would also like to travel.
I love my phone. I can't go anywhere without it. Because when I get bored, I just use it. And my phone is the best present I've gotten.
Okay. Thank you. Edwin.
My favorite activities to do is play soccer and also play basketball. And another, and I also like to watch YouTube to kill time.
Alright.
I like to listen to music on my phone every day. My favorite song at the moment is No Problem by Chance the Rapper. My favorite artists are Logic, G-Eazy, and Chance.
Sweet. Thanks for the specificity there.
I like acting, like
never mind. I like to listen to music and play volleyball. And once you get to know me, then there's a lot of things that you can find out.
Okay.
I like to listen to Justin Bieber songs. I also like to play sports and basketball.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Ariana. Edwin, I'm going to trust you that the little ball of paper you've been messing around with is going to not distract you or anybody else. Okay? If it does, I'll take it. Boy.
I like to play soccer with Edwin, Daniel, Juan, Omar, Oscar, Monty, and La at the field next to Wilbur with the orange and white soccer Puma ball. I also like to score in the goals that are made out of backpacks and sweaters.
Nice. That was really specific. I appreciate that. You gave very strong description. And Yoseri.
My friend can take really cool pictures at any important events. My phone could also find really cool activities to do during summer, such as camping, going camping, or going fishing.
All right. So from all of the writing samples that you shared, I appreciate everybody's willingness to read at least something. What are we looking for in order to make our writing descriptive? There was definitely, from each person, you were doing some things to make your writing descriptive. So I want to talk about it. What were you making sure you put in your writing to make it descriptive? Edwin.
For more information about the subject.
Yes, we want details. What else? So we want details about the subject you're discussing. What else should we be describing carefully? Daniel and Juan Carlos, this is at least the 5th time that I've had to make eye contact with both of you. I'm getting real tired of it. What are the other things that we need to do in order to describe things well? We need to give details about the subject. What else? Moy did something that was really powerful when he was describing the soccer that he plays on the field. Can you read out the sentences that you shared with us?
I like to play soccer with Edwin, Daniel, Juan, Omar, Oscar, Santi, and La at the field next to Wilbur with the orange and white soccer Puma ball. I also like to score in the goals that are made out of backpacks and sweaters.
Okay. So what did we notice about what Moy read for us? What information does he give us?
It was specific.
It was very specific. And what was he specific about? He gave us specific information about, yes? Mm-hmm. Who was he with? He told us that. What else? He was telling us what things look like. So appearance.
Where it was at.
Uh-huh. He was giving us location. What are other things that Moy maybe didn't have in his writing but you could add, besides what something looks like, where you are, and who you're with? Think about your senses. So we talked about vision, what something looks like. How else can we describe something? What are your 5 senses? Agali, give me one sense other than vision.
Taste.
Taste. So I know that Ariana wrote about what she likes to eat, so she can describe to us what it tastes like. What else? Kayla, what's another sense? 5 senses are? We have sight, taste. So we have sight, we have taste, okay, smell. Yes, Juan?
Here.
Our hearing. One, two, three, four. Touch. How does something feel? So these are all of the things that I want you to be using as you try to describe what you enjoy doing. Okay? I want you to give me details about it. I want you to be specific in your descriptions. And the last thing I want you to do is tell us why. If you like pepperoni pizza, tell me why. If you want to go live in Madrid, Spain, tell me why. Okay? So, we have only 15 minutes left in class. For the next 7 minutes, you are again going to be writing independently. I want you to either rewrite what you have been working on or start over new if that's what you need to do, and use descriptive language. Make sure you are including these things. Yes,
Can I
Carlos.
continue the story from yesterday?
Yes, you can continue yesterday's story if that's something that you would be interested in doing. But whatever you're writing about, be descriptive. That's our goal for the day. Seven more minutes. Wow. Give me as much detail as you can. You're writing about your phone. Tell me what your phone looks like. How does it feel in your hand? If you're bored when you use it, what do you do?
No. Yeah.
If you think you're done, you are probably not. There are more questions you can answer. So, Daniel, you're telling me that you have included all of this? Yeah, life's hard, dude. Just gotta keep writing. And you can move on to the next page. Okay, one more minute of writing. Get your last little bits in there.
We're finished.
You're completely done.
Yeah.
It has everything.
You didn't have a lot of description about the way things look.
They're just roller coasters.
Yeah, they're different colors.
Those are not.
What if somebody had never seen a roller coaster before? Explain to them what it looks like. Yeah, there's plenty of people in this world who have never seen a roller coaster. But not all fortunate enough to live in the Silicon Valley Bay Area. Okay, there's your signal to finish up your very last sentence. I'm gonna pass out a note card. And I want you to do your best to answer me honestly. You don't need to write your name on this one, just take one, pass it along. And I need you to answer a question, which is the following. It's probably gonna be 2 questions. So, I need your feedback. What can we do to improve class? Because between my first period and this second period has much lower energy, and I feel like people are just generally less excited about what we're doing. So if you have ideas about what we could be doing that would make you a little more excited and willing to participate, I need to know.
Card.
Huh?
They need a card.
We're out of cards? Okay. Moy, can you just tear a sheet out of your notebook and share it in half with Bethany? Thank you for being flexible. So 1, what can we do to improve this class? And 2, is there anything that's going well that you want to keep doing? If there's absolutely nothing that's going well, then I need at least 2 things that we can do to improve this class, because I feel like I'm struggling. I need your wisdom. When you are done, follow Juan Carlos' example of turning in your notebook and your note card. Really do some things. That was specific.
No. Hey.
Nancy, was that you?
That was a lizard.
Okay, whoever it was, we need to have a conversation now.
Mm,